Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, The Israeli. Today I want to show you a historical picture. This is an historical picture. Israel might have a new government. It's still not sure. There's still like 12 days for the Likud and Bibi Netanyahu to do everything in their power to stop it so they can stay in power or go to fifth elections. But so far it's looking good, and it looks like there is going to be a new government in Israel, which is already good because whether you like Bibi Netanyahu or not, I can see both sides. Everybody who watches this channel knows which side I'm on. But after 12 straight years of being in control, of being in power, that's too much for anybody. There should be a limit, and hopefully now they'll make a law that will limit how long a person can be prime minister for 8 years or so. But 12 years is too much, and you can see it. You can actually see it. You can use Israel and the time Bibi was prime minister as a case study, and they probably will in the future. I won't be surprised. Okay, so let's go to this picture because this is an historical picture, and I'll try to explain why. So this here on the left is Yair Lapid. Yair Lapid is the head of the party Yesh Atid. There is a future. And he got 17 seats in parliament in the last election. Just so you understand, Bibi Netanyahu received 30, which is almost double. But he wasn't able to build a government because nobody trusts him anymore, and I'll make a video about that in the future. But he can't build a government because nobody trusts him. Nobody trusts his word. Nobody trusts his signature. Nobody trusts anything he says anymore. So he couldn't build a government. So this guy's built a government that nobody ever thought we were going to see, at least not now, in Israel. So we're going to go over it. So this is Yair Lapid. He got 17 seats in parliament. He's the head of Yesh Atid. This is Bennett, Naftali Bennett. He's the head of Yamina, Right Party. And this is Abbas. He's the head of the United Arab Party, the United Arab of Israel Party. Now you have to understand, Naftali Bennett and Abbas are on the opposite sides of the political spectrum in Israel. Abbas is for a two-state solution with Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine, with the right of return to refugees, and having the state of the Arab as a minority in the constitution that we don't have yet, but in the future to have it in law that they are protected minority, and many other things. That's his side. Now, Naftali Bennett, he's on the right, and he's for a one-state solution where the laws will make sure that the Jews are in charge, or nobody really challenged him yet about this one-state solution of his. And I wish that the media will stop dealing with numbers, how many seats the right has, how many seats the left has, are they able to build a government, all those questions. They're less important. Nobody ever challenges the right on their one-state solution. But that's what he believes in. He believes in settlements. He believes in Israel being a much more Jewish, in the religious sense, country. So they are on opposite sides on the political spectrum. And nobody ever thought they were going to be seated together in the same government. And even less sitting right like this, like in the picture here, right next to each other, signing a contract for the next government, agreements, and smiling to the camera, not hiding anything. This is usually when governments parties come to deals with the Arab parties. It's not done in public. They do it in back doors. They make their deals, and then when they come to parliament, they vote together or whatever. But this is very public. This is for everybody to see. We're not hiding it. It's time to go to the next step. The Arabs are citizens in the country. They deserve to be represented. They deserve to have a voice. They deserve to take part in the parliamentary system. And this is the first time that this is actually happening. And he's going to be a minister or something of the sorts. And look, Whether this government is going to come about, or whether Bibi is going to be able to break it apart, whether this government comes about and lasts only for a few months or a year, or if it lasts for 4 years, it doesn't matter. This picture is historical. This picture is something that was never seen before, and no matter what happens, this is going to change the politics in Israel. No more the Arab parties are automatically in the opposition. From now on, anybody who will want to build a government will have to come and speak with the Arab parties as well. And this is a big change, and it's a good change. It's about time something happened. And anybody who watches this channel, it's a new channel, but this surprised me. It surprised me quite a lot, and Yair Lapid did a great job here. He did a great job. The only criticism I have about Yair Lapid, of course, is that his party doesn't run in a democratic way, but hopefully in the future he'll change that. But that's less important. Right now we're heading for a new government. Now, for those of you who are saying, wow, there's an Arab party in government now, is it going to change anything as far as the peace process, as far as Arab rights in Israel, as far as all this minority and Israel-Palestinian conflict? Well, the answer is yes and no. Are they going to be able to go to a peace process? That's a good question. We'll have to see what happens. Right now, Naftali Bennett, this is the big story actually. So Yair Lapid has 17 seats in parliament. Naftali Bennett has 7. But he's going to be the prime minister for the next 2 years. He's going to be first prime minister, and then Yair Lapid is going to change him for the last 2 years. He has 7 seats, which is nothing. There are 120 seats in the Israeli parliament. But he's going to be prime minister. Now, he's going to have to prove himself to the right that he's still on the right, which means that he won't be able to really go to a peace process. On the other hand, because Abbas is in the government and other left-wing parties like the Avoda, the Labor Party, or Meretz, annexation is off the table. Is completely off the table. Building new settlements is off the table. All this stuff in the West Bank is frozen for now, and we'll see where it goes. Now, I'm saying we don't know about the peace process because so far most of the peace processes that we had and the peace agreements that we had were done by the right. Yeah, of course, if we don't count the peace with Jordan, that was done by Yitzhak Rabin, but with Egypt. And now the 4 peace agreements that we had with Arab countries, they were all done by the right. So the right is willing to go into peace negotiations, but so far not this type of right. Like Naftali Bennett is really on the right. But we'll have to see. This is a quite balanced government, first time an Arab government, and one thing I do hope it's going to do, it's going to bring the people of the country back together. Everybody back together. Not part of this new government are the ultra-Orthodox, the ultra-religious Jews. They're not going to be part of this government. And the Likud members, those that vote for Bibi Netanyahu, they're also not part of this government. So it's not everybody in the country, because the ultra-Orthodox are not part of the government, and they're 20% of the population. But it's about time they take a break as well. They've been in government with Bibi from the beginning. They've been in government longer than Bibi. It's about time for them to take a break as well, to be in the opposition. In a democracy, being in opposition, there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. There are going to be a lot of protests against this new prime minister that has only 7 seats. Many people do not respect his decision to become prime minister. But we'll have to see what happens. It's not going to be quiet. There are going to be a lot of protests. He's not going to have an easy time. And hopefully they'll be able to work through it, because this is going to bring Israel to where it needs to be. And hopefully maybe this government won't really start a peace process or peace negotiations, but it'll make enough changes for the next government to be able to start making those moves. Either way, I hope that they will start investing more in the Arab Israeli citizens, the Israel Palestinian citizens, in to elevate them, to give them more hope, to give them more options, to give them more choice, to make them feel part of the country, yeah, and not second-class citizens, because they're not, and they don't deserve to feel that way. They're citizens like everybody else, and do moves with the Palestinians, especially with Gaza, in the form of giving them hope as well. I'm very optimistic about this new government. This photograph here is historic. There's no other word for it. It's historic. Okay, and I want to show you, before I end this video, I want to show you another news from Israel, because, you know, all the bad news and everybody, not everybody, the truth is that if you really look at it, it's quite balanced, maybe more for the Palestinians, but it's quite balanced. But everybody is bashing Israel or bashing the Palestinians, and I don't want to bash anybody, but I want to show you something nice about Israel. Yeah, it's the only country in the Middle East that has this. So Israel will have on June 11th the Gay Pride Parade. Yeah, I'm not part of the community. I'm not gay or the LGBTQ. I'm not part any of them, but I do support them. They have the right to live the way they want. They have the right to equal rights and to have their options, their future, their security, everything taken care of. And they have a parade in Tel Aviv on June 11th, and also in Jerusalem. So in Jerusalem, it's going to be a bit more difficult than in Tel Aviv, of course, but it's also going to be in Jerusalem, which is amazing. So I just wanted to show you guys this as well, and I think it's really great. Now, many people, I just want to say one thing for the people who are against the Pride Parade. It's like, we don't have a straight parade. Why do they need a Pride Parade? I'll tell you why. As long as gay people are being executed in certain places in the world, they need to make their voices sound. When this stops everywhere in the world, where people will stop being arrested, prosecuted, and executed because of their sexual orientation, then maybe it'll be time to stop this type of parades. But as long as this happens, and in many countries they have to hide, they have to wear masks, and they put themselves in great danger if they live who they actually are. As long as that exists, they have the right to make their voices sound. And I support them in this channel, and I'm very happy that Israel is open enough and liberal enough in some places to have this type of parades. Okay, guys, so this is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this content, please comment, like, share, and please subscribe. It's really going to help a lot. And I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.